This has got those locking tabs in there. I don't know if we can see it with these light or not. The sun's kind of blinding everything, but here's one that's still laying out flat. This one's folded up against this side here. We'll use the screwdriver to get it down. So that's got one of those spacers in there that has those tabs that you fold over. So this one right here, it's the only one I see that's folded up. I use the hammer and get that down. So there's normally, it's going to be at least one of them's going to line up with the flat side when you got that bearing set. There's two. Looks like there's three I could have used, but I don't want to use all of them in case one of them winds up breaking off from being used too much. And if you're folding three of them out every time, then you fold them back down next time, fold them back out again, they all get weaker. So I try not to use all of them. Probably be a good idea to use two of them anyway, in case the one that you fold up is weak and it breaks off. If it folds up too easy, you know it's weak and you shouldn't use it alone. You should use another one. So there's another one down here that's square with the side of the nut there, and another one up here that's almost square with it that could be used. Now I've got a socket that'll fit that, but if you don't have, you can take a screwdriver and a hammer, and this is not supposed to be on real tight anyway. You tighten it down. You do what they call preloading the bearing. You tighten it down when you put it on to about 50 pounds, 50 foot-pounds. Then you back it off, and then you snug it back down until it just seats, and then back it off a quarter turn. And that is approximately where you want that bearing. That's why you got that ring, those little tabs you got to fold up, because this nut does not go tight against the bearing. I'm just doing this for demonstration. I got a socket that'll fit on that, but you see it turning, so you got the gist of it. So I'm going to go on ahead and use the socket. Got the first one off. Set it down in the pan here. Take this little ring right here off. Now this is not good. That's supposed to have a tab right there to keep that from turning. It's supposed to go in this keyway. Well, that tab is worn off of it. So I don't have another one to put in there. I don't like that. Figure out something here. As long as these bearings never run out of oil and seize up, that'll never come off of there. But that's something you just can't guarantee. Now this is ready to take the bearing out. Just rock this thing up and down a little bit. The bearing should start coming out of there. magnet and pull it out. Okay. We'll inspect that bearing before we put it back in. Pretty sure it'll be just fine. When that gets done dripping, just pull this whole drum right off of there, I hope. There's a little inspection cover right here that you can take off. Normally take it off with a screwdriver. I just tried to take it off and it won't come off. It's rusted and breaking. But what that is I guess it's just a handy way to let you see the lining on the brake shoes to see how far they got to go, so you don't have to take this whole thing apart like we're doing here to get to the brakes. But anyway, right inside this inspection hole, there's a little star wheel in there. Let's see if we can see it. Just barely can. A little star wheel in there, right in the center of the screen there. That little wheel is going up, that's looking like it's up, facing up and down inside that hole that's at an angle. That we got to turn with a screwdriver or a brake spoon, they call it, brake adjusting tool, and back that thing off to loosen up the brakes. I tried to do it with one of these little so-called brake spoons, these adjusting tools. I got two of them here, and neither one of them would fit in there to do it. They work on a car, but it looks like I can only do it with this big screwdriver. And I was turning it one way and it was turning easy, and I didn't even hear the ratcheting thing, and so I turned it the other way and I heard the ratcheting thing, but it was thumping hard, so I know that that's the right way to go because I was forcing it to go against the way it's wanting to go. Okay, this is the way I don't want to go. Rolling the wheel upwards is tightening it. Get back in here again. Gotta roll the wheel downwards. I can't do it with the camera though. Need two hands. Got it loosened up some. Let me take a chance on getting this drum off of there this time. Looks like it might come off. I don't like is the weight of it. I'm not sure why these brakes were so grabby. It's not really that wet. It is a little bit wet, but there's plenty of meat on the brake shoes. I like that. The little bit that I use this truck, that'll last me. But that star wheel that I was talking about, it's right there in the center. That's the wheel we were turning from the outside, and that's the ratcheting mechanism that's sitting on top of it. That blade thing with the hole in it. Here's the spring. This is designed to turn downwards, and this will just ride over it. But when you have to go the other way, you're forcing it to loosen it. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway. It does have a new wheel cylinder on top. This is a problem for me. This is a new wheel cylinder and it's leaking. Not bad, but it's leaking some. Both sides. Can't really see in there without a flashlight, but I got the screwdriver in one hand, the camera in the other. I can't hold a flashlight, but it is. And the bottom one is too. But I'm not sure that's why the brakes were grabbing. I just tasted the brake fluid and saw the moisture and knew that it was brake fluid out here. And the way the brakes started grabbing suddenly, and there was pasty, sticky stuff in here on the drum. There still is. There's chunks of greasy, pasty, sticky stuff there. So there is a moisture issue in the drum, but I don't know for sure if it's because of wheel cylinders that are just barely starting to seep, but they're not really leaking and don't have axle grease in here. This is a weird one. I'm going to clean it up and put it back together like it is. Because for those of you that have been following me, you know I just got done spending an awful lot of money on my big truck, and I'm still pretty much laid off. I get a load once in a while, but not very often. So I'm not going to spend any money. Just going to clean this up, put it back together. By the way, I'm going to clean it up with brake cleaner. This is not the one from O'Reilly's like I usually get, because they're not on the way home from work, but Rural King is, and this is their brand, Harvest King. And so I stopped there, got a few cans of brake cleaner. That dries the oil up and cleans, and it just dries oil is what it's really good for. Yeah, that brake cleaner, it'll lift the oil, melt into it, and lift it up. Or you can wipe it off of there, but you gotta keep doing it over and over. In a professional shop, you're not allowed to clean brakes like that, only clean parts. You're not allowed to clean brake shoes, but when you do it at home, it does work. You can clean the brake shoes and you can still keep using them. I really don't know for sure why they say you can't do that on brake shoes. I've never had a problem with it. Don't believe anyone ever has. I think it's just to sell more brake shoes.